asking for their business is it's a mindset thing, to be honest, when it comes to asking for the business, because you're afraid of, them not. It's a natural human thing for you to be afraid of people not liking you. But if you just say, you know what, I don't care, I'm just gonna ask anyways, that is one way to definitely secure a lead. Because when I first started here, I didn't ask for buyer consults like that, so I lost a lot of leads that I could have, been the agent for. How's it going, everybody? My name is Ken.
I'm Grace.
And this is Before the Breakthrough, episode 2. In the last episode, we introduced ourselves and who we're working with. Now we're going to be talking about the reality checks of being a rookie.
All right, so let's just dive in. What does it really feel like being a rookie agent? Like, how has it been for you?
This is what it feels like to be a rookie agent, for me at least, being, brand new, fresh.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like there's a lot of, pressure involved, because you're pressured to, it's like you have this thought process of, is this even going to work for me? And you consistently have to show up with no pipelines, no leads. You have to consistently keep showing up every single day, even though there's no results to show for it. But just having that belief that it'll work in the end if you just keep trusting the process. That's what drives me to do what I do every single day. Is just having that belief that this is all going to work out in the end if I just put in the work. So I think for a lot of new agents, it's a lot of pressure, a lot of getting lost in the process, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like especially coming in as like a new agent, you really have to have like a strong mindset. Like
Yep.
You need to be able to like keep yourself grounded while also like setting high but achievable expectations. So I feel like, and that makes it obviously harder because you don't have like the previous clients, like veteran agents, I guess you could say, have. So I feel like you get knocked down, but you can't just like cry about it. You have to just get back up and like keep going.
And essentially too is like, especially if you don't have like a strong sphere of network, it all comes down to you prospecting, because, as new agents, there's a lot of, I guess, there's this feeling where people that know you don't really want to work with you. And you've experienced that before, haven't you?
Yeah, or like almost, especially since when I got into it, I was 18. So I feel like my sphere, obviously 18-year-olds don't typically buy homes.
Right.
And then I feel like my sphere kind of almost didn't take me seriously in my career, so that made it harder, because obviously my sphere of people that would be buying homes came from my parents, but then some of them, I think, didn't truly believe that I'd be able to represent them properly just because I was newer. Again, with having a strong mindset is really important, because even people around you that are close or not close are going to have doubts and kind of not be as supportive as other people. So I feel like being able to, at least that was like for my journey, I definitely had people not take me as seriously. One, because of my age, and two, because I'm a newer agent. So I feel like that was kind of harder. So once I switched to Enclave, I'm obviously older now, and I'm trying to almost go through like a rebranding,
right.
And just kind of start fresh and really like lay down the line that like I'm here on business and I am to be taken seriously, and so are you. It doesn't matter that you just got your license, like you put in the work to have the knowledge to be able to properly represent someone, and that's what matters. And like I feel like also, as rookie agents, they're typically younger, which I think gives us more of an advantage when it comes to tech. And I think that that's something that people should really lean into instead of run away from. And I think being younger, we just have like a better grasp of it. Like I have to help my dad with so much stuff, like when it comes to tech, like even just like logging into things. He's like, I don't know. So like, I don't know. I feel like we definitely have advantages. It's just like proving we have the knowledge.
One thing that Adam told me, I was on a call with him the other day. because I asked him about objections, like how do you handle these objections or what should I expect for objections? And he told me one thing is that if you show up with confidence, those objections most likely won't even come up. So it made me think like, just being confident in what you're doing will make people see that you know what you're doing.
No, I agree. I think like confidence is key, and even if you don't, like to fake it till you make it. And I feel like that's another thing as a rookie agent, like coming in with confidence, but then also like if you do get questioned by someone, knowing like how to handle objections and like what to say to make them still feel comfortable to work with you is important. But confidence, especially in this industry, is like critical.
No, yeah, critical. It's critical for sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, if you're very certain about what you're doing, like if you give them information and you're super certain about it, they'll believe you. They won't have that second guess, like, this guy or this girl doesn't know what they're talking about. But if you're certain and confident with what you're saying, they believe you right off the gate. And I've seen that happen because when I first started, being new agent, I didn't know nothing at all. Like everything I said, they could tell was like fluff or whatever. Yeah. So now that I'm a little more experienced in the whole process, going in with confidence and certainty, it has definitely helped me like, get more buyer consultations in, buyer reps in. So definitely number one key for rookie agents is be confident and be certain in what you're doing.
I agree, yeah. Because even when you like don't know questions, especially if you're on a team like Enclave, they are always around. So, like if someone asks you something and you don't know it, don't lie and be like, oh, this is it. Like just be like, you know what, honestly, I'm just going to check it. Like I'm going to check on that for you and get back to you on that because I want to make sure that you have the correct answer. And answering like that, even though you don't know the right like answer, gives them like reassurance that they're doing their due diligence to make sure that I'm getting all the correct information that I need.
I saw a video too that talked about that, where if you don't know an answer, you just tell them, I don't have the answers yet, but I can promise you I'll find the answers for you. That definitely gives them reassurance for sure.
I agree, and makes them feel comfortable. And like again, kind of like we were talking before about building a relationship of like trust, like, and it not being just a transaction. You're building a relationship with them to
for sure.
Make them feel comfortable and confident. Kind of going off of like having confidence, I feel like a key part to having confidence is when you're asking for business, because that can be difficult at times. Majority of times, unless you have a really strong connection with them beforehand, like your sphere, because you don't want to come off as like salesy or pushy. And I feel like especially when you start bringing up contracts, people kind of get skittish and like a little weird when it comes to that, which is totally makes sense, especially like if they're first time home buyers, they don't know what they're getting into. And most people like they want to know what they're signing. So I feel like being able to fully explain like this is what you're signing. So I don't know what how has it been for you asking for business?
Ever since we got that training last Tuesday about just asking for business, it's important that when you learn something, you apply it right away. The worst thing they could do is say no to you. So I just said, you know what, going in with that mindset, I'm just gonna ask them, hey, has anybody ever done a buyer consult for you? Like it's not good to ask yes or no questions, but in that scenario, filters out leads.
Well, because I think it's a positive response either way. Like if they haven't, then you can be the one to explain it to them, and if they have, like you can just kind of see where their knowledge is.
Yep. And I did have some leads who went through the whole process before, but run it through again, because last thing you want is to have them sign something that they don't even know what they're signing for, and then that comes back on you. So
well, and like if they had like gone through one previously, you never know like what their experience was with previous agents, just because you don't know how well they explained it or how they like actually explained it, especially from that training that we had. Time is like very valuable, especially in this industry, I think, and I feel like maximizing your time doing things that are productive are important, like kind of like what we were just talking about. If you are working with someone, you want to give them the confidence of being able to give them like confidentiality and like your full services, which you're not able to do unless they're under a buyer rep contract. And then it also like gives you the confidence that you're not taking them to 10 showings and then another agent comes along and
They ghost you.
they
after
take
that.
them
Yep.
and then you get ghosted and then you did all that work and spent all that time and you didn't get anything, out of it. So just, I don't know, I feel like it's just being able to explain those, because I feel like that's, at least for me, as like being more new at like explaining that to people, it's one of the more difficult contracts to like talk about, like because you're asking for them to like trust you in this big process. And if they do say no, I mean, like my go-to is always like, what can I do to earn your business? Like, is someone doing something else different that like you like, or am I doing something that you don't? Just because also, even if they still don't end up working with me, then I learn what I can do for my next client to make because you can always grow, you can always learn, and that's kind of like what I do.
Asking for their business it's a mindset thing, to be honest, when it comes to asking for the business, because you're afraid of them not. It's a natural human thing for you to be afraid of people not liking you, But if you just say, you know what, I don't care, I'm just gonna ask anyways. That is one way to definitely secure a lead, because when I first started here, I didn't ask for buyer consults like that, so I lost a lot of leads that I could have, been the agent for. But now that I'm starting to do that more, a lot of people are saying okay to it and yes to working with me.
No, I definitely went through that too, because like coming into it, I was kind of unsure how to go about asking for business and to like have them under the buyer rep. So I feel like I definitely lost opportunity because of that. So I don't know. It just sucks.
Yeah, it sucks for sure.
Yeah, because it's like even like all the work that you do put in to just meet them for the first time and like things you want to go over with them and make sure that they have a good first experience, because first impressions are like everything. So far as that, people really go off of like how it was when they first met you. Instead of just showing the property and then like trying to reach back out to them after is so much harder than making sure that you set up either like a coffee meetup or another showing before you guys part ways is really important, because then that also shows you like, hey, I'm not here to just open doors. Like I can provide you with value and knowledge.
It's easier for a lead to say no to you when they don't have that much grit in the game with you. So one thing I learned in my last sales job is you want to make sure they have grit in the game when it comes to buying a home or working with you. So it's all little things like asking for a buyer consult, getting to know their motivation, having them conversate more with you. And the thing too is that with relationship building, the more people are like with you in person, the more they're more likely to trust you and build rapport with you.
So with that being said, what is one thing that you're focusing on improving?
Yeah, so one thing I'm focusing on improving right now for my business is just, prospecting more, like cold calling more, because you can get so busy and caught up with the leads that you're getting right now and all the clients you're working with. It's really difficult. Even what I hear from experienced realtors is that it's more difficult to prospect when you get business in, because you have to really, really live by your schedule. You have to put time into prospecting, putting time into helping your clients buy their homes or sell their properties. So I guess falling off of that essentially would be to hone down on my scheduling. I guess you could say that, because I have a set schedule, but it's really hard to stick to the schedule when you have showings at this time, when you have clients you got to follow up with. And sure, we can have it on the schedule that it's only going to take like 30 minutes or an hour. But in reality, when you're going back and forth with clients, talking with them, it takes a little longer than an hour, because sometimes you might have to do some digging for them for either property or information, things like that. It takes a whole lot longer. So just being able to adapt to your schedule and things that happen around it is what I'm improving on.
I'm kind of focusing on the same thing, just kind of like making more calls out, like doing more cold calling. You know, even if they don't call me back or answer now, then maybe I've planted a seed for in the future, and generating new business is kind of what I'm going to be focusing on, along with my schedule as well. Just because it is hard to, you know, stick to a schedule when you have other life events or showings come up or things like that. You have to be able to multitask and be able to, you know, decide what you definitely want done that
Yep.
day. Honing in on making my schedule flexible, but also steady, I guess would be.
Or consistent.
Yeah, consistent. Just because, you know, you never know when you're going to get a showing. I think just working on, you know, generating new business other than like our Zillow leads that we have. And then that kind of pairs with the asking for business.
One good thing too that we both can work on is, you know, working on scripts and role playing, because
For sure.
it gets easier to know what to say, because if you really wanted to be successful in like anything like sales related, you have to be able to know what to say without thinking about it.
Like if you ask for a buyer consult, but you're just like, oh yeah, so like
Anyways,
anyways,
yeah.
this is like, don't mind this thing, just, you know, sign
Right.
at the bottom and we'll
Yeah,
get
the
to it.
dotted
Like,
line. Yep.
no, that's not gonna work. So yeah, I think that like script practice and like role playing is important.
It's hard to do role playing and scripting with other people that are in the same business you are in, because
Oh, yeah.
you'll naturally have that like, oh, I'm not good at this feeling, you know, like, oh, or you don't want to be embarrassed. But what I learned is that honestly, at the end of the day, they're just trying to help you. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like that's another thing that goes like with confidence is you just have to have confidence in what you're saying, and the people that you surround yourself with, if you've chosen good people, will
Right.
be there to help and not judge and like criticize. They'll give like constructive feedback and help, which I think is great. But it is definitely hard to, I feel like, do it with people in the same industry, just because also then like it's like weird being on the other side sometimes.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it
Like, I don't
is.
know. So I feel like it's always, for me, I've had the best success with like doing it with like family, friends, or my boyfriend, because, you know, I feel like it's added pressure sometimes when you do it with someone in the same industry.
This has been episode 2 of Before the Breakthrough. And if you guys enjoy this episode and want to hear more episodes in the future, make sure you follow us on our social medias and stay tuned. Until then, we'll catch you guys in the next episode.